that is the end of my full gaming for 2025. 2025 is done. I can no longer play any more games in 2025. So I guess the big question is, was 2025 a good year for gaming? Let me update that. Bam. Was 2025 a good year for gaming? I would say yes. And again, I think I'm going to go on record and say this is one of the best years we've ever had gaming. Oop. Let me try this. Let me bam. So I made a single-use tier list of every game that I played this year. You know what? Let me actually switch up the music a little bit. Something a little more chill, a little more vibe. Here you go. This will work. All right, so we have right here a tier list. Every game that I played this year. In total, counting DLCs and stuff, I played... What happened to that music that was literally just playing? Let me refresh that. Tell me my internet didn't go down after... There we go, okay. All right. So this year I did a lot. As you can see, this is all DLC, all expansions, every game that I played this year, every game they finished at the beginning of the year from last year's Gamesmas that I never really finished. All of them are here. I'm going to tackle them in order of what I thought throughout the year. Tier Maker is kind of annoying with the ads, but, you know, whatever. There you go. Damn it. Whatever. All right. We started the year off with Call of the Sea. That was the very first thing I did. I did it last Gamesmas. Cool eldritch horror storyline. Complex, like really complex yet solvable puzzles if you take the time to explore. A neat murder mystery storyline. I'm gonna... So ready? Wait, you know what? I'm gonna already... Okay, so... So this is what my list is. My great games, solid, not so great, top tier, and one spot for game of the year. I think that's fair. You know, here, I'm gonna actually... There we go. This is bad. Things that are outright bad go down there. So, Call of the Sea. Solid game. Overall, it was solid. Thank goodness you're here. Incredibly funny. A great, kind of like what we just did, a great point-and-click adventure. And, hey, what can I say? Reggie's wife could learn a thing or two by playing this game. I'm going to put this under our first great game, because it was great. If you like point-and-click exploration, if you like puzzles, if you like British humor, thank goodness you're here is it. Life is Strange Double Exposure. Neat story. Some of it was a little basic. Some of it was a little weird. Does it stack up to the original Life is Strange? No. But cool, like time-jumping puzzles, alternate dimensions. It was neat. I really liked, and I think the continuation of Max's story. Do I wish that Chloe was in it? Yeah, but it's fine. Lake. Another simple game. Like 3 different or 4 different branching stories. It was another of my games miss games. It was fine in the grand scheme of things. I liked it. It was a good chill game. And it's hard to kind of like mix chill games in here in the middle. Right, it's hard to mix a chill game in there. But like cute stories, the gameplay was very simplistic though, because it's just driving and delivering mail around a lake. The Squad. K the Justice League. Oh boy, rough. I beat the entire game. A few good jokes throughout the entire game. Very mediocre characters, very mediocre interpretations of the characters. Kind of disrespects everything that came in the Arkham. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said 100 times by 100 people, right? Poor writing, very bad pacing. Super lame ending. Hey, you made it through all of this. You defeated the Justice League. Kind of. You made your way to Brainiac, who the final boss fight is just a reskin of the Flash boss fight. And it turns out there's 12 other Brainiacs out there. But then, oh wait, what's this? Just watch all the DLC on YouTube, because when it became very clear they weren't getting a season 2, they rewrote the finale and just said, oh, all the other Brainiacs, they were all killed off screen by Deathstroke. And the real Justice League is alive! Those were clones you were fighting, dummies! Bad. This is appropriate because I actually yesterday just got back into playing Astrobot, or 2 days ago. Vacation, all days blend together. Astrobot released 2 DLCs at the beginning of the year. The Stellar Speedway is really good. Really tight, excellent level design. They took advantage of all the power-ups, the animal skills. They added a lot of great little characters. Helldivers, Nariko from Heavenly Blade, Eve from Stellar Blade, Wesker, I think Guilty Gear. I remember the ice level in this, like sliding with the seals, was a lot of fun, and there was a lava climb level that was really good too. So Stellar Speedway was great. It's just a DLC, so I can't put it in the top tier, but I'll put it at the top of solid. Then also they gave away the Winter Wonderland DLC, which is a good like couple like an hour and a half extra giant level. Great holiday themed gameplay, very wholesome for a free DLC. Gave us Gex the Gecko, Rayman, and Spider-Man. I actually, on the whole, enjoyed it a little more than Stellar Speedway. Again, I can't put them in great game. Astrobot would be top tier. As like hour and a half, 2 hour DLCs. Yeah. Alright. Genshin Impact 5.3. If you know me, you know I love Genshin. I love the lore. I'm a Genshin fiend. I have a Dotoko. I'm like, what do I have that's Genshin within arm's reach? I have a Dotoko right here. So, 5.3 was the incandescent ode to Resurrection, or the Flame of Resurrection. It finished the main Natlan quest, right? It finished the Archon quest. It gave us Sitlali, who's a great support character. It gave us Moeka, who I use all the time. She's one of my mains. Capitano's story was kind of peak, and was definitely the best storytelling in the main Natlan arc. Was episode 5. Moeka's story was pretty good too, and Sitlali's was all right. It was a good story overall. It also had the Lantern Rite, which was the Hu Tao Lantern Rite. Introduced Lanyan, who is kind of a wasted character, hasn't mattered since the event. It was solid. It was not the best we've had this year. I'm going to put it there. I think that's a good place for it. The Plucky Squire. Very cute. Very interesting gameplay. Going from 2D story characters that mess with the words on the page of their storybook to replace and like word replacement puzzles. So they're like, oh, the rickety bridge you couldn't cross, but then you replace the word rickety, you go fight a giant toad, you steal the word giant from the toad, put it in front of bridge, and it becomes a giant bridge, and now it's not the most creative or lengthy story, but it was funny. The 3D world was a good platforming bits. Overall, it was very good. Yeah. Plucky was very cute, yeah. Marvel Rivals. We've been playing Marvel Rivals for a year now. We just celebrated in Times Square with them for New Year's Eve. It was a lot of fun. We watched the ball drop in Times Square in Marvel's Rivals, which is awesome. Season 1, though, is kind of where it picked up. Season 0 was good. Season 0 was solid. Season 1 was great, I think. It gave us the Central Park map. It gave us the Midtown map, which were both awesome and still are fun to do. I still have fun running them. It was, they said it was a special occasion. They gave us 4 characters in a single patch. Nuts. Overwatch could never. It was a great start to the game. Yeah, the great official kickoff. I'm a support main. That's why I was just Dagger. So, which is why I did not mind. The big meta of the season was triple support, which has made a comeback. So I didn't mind the meta of the season. The battle pass was awesome. It gave us the All Butcher Loki, Berserker Wolverine, the Blood Iron Man, and the Blood Atom Warlock. Overall, it was good. It was a longer season, which they said from the start. But I think it was great. I think it's probably the best Rivals has been. Yeah. Then was a DLC. So this is, again, same thing with the Astrobot DLC. I can't rate it that high. Was the Heroes of Justice DLC. Superhero... Dragon Ball Z Superhero. Or Dragon Ball Superhero. Oof. It added some of my... it was a decent DLC. It added some of my favorite recent canon characters. It gave us Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, whatever. Both in his regular and giant form. It gave us Cell Max. Again, I have a giant Cell Max statue up there. It gave us the Gammas. All really cool add-ons. But there was also no story. No, nothing like that. So, again, I'm going to put it in... below average, because it's fine. It's just an add-on, it's nothing to write home about. Fortnite, we had a brand new chapter in Fortnite. Chapter 6 has started with Season 1 Hunters. Really, really cool new map. The Japanese-inspired map was awesome. All the new movement abilities, the wall scramble, the vaulting, the wall roll, the wall kicking, like bouncing off the walls, rolling dives. It added the sprites, the Oni masks, some really great boss fights. The Night Rose boss fight, Shogun X was okay, but the Night Rose boss fight with the giant puppet mask, that was awesome. It introduced us to a lot of the new characters, Kendo, Jade, Daigo, who'd be for the rest of the season. Big Hero 6 gave us Skibbity Toilet. King Kong, Kaiju number 8. It also gave us Godzilla, which I only got to play as like twice, but it was awesome, and I think is the best it was all year. So, you know, I'm going to put that there at the bottom of great. Then was, this is around the time, February. We're done with January. We're a 12th of the way there, guys. February. Kicked off with Genshin 5.4. Moonlight Amidst Dreams. It was a filler patch. It had no real substance. It gave us Yuma Mizuki, who's cool. It had a really good Inazuma festival. It gave us a little bit of lore with like the Kitsune, the Bakatanuki, and nightmares and stuff like that, but no substantial lore. Yeah, I feel like it's where... Yeah. I really don't have anything great to say about it. It was fine. Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 2, Lawless. The criminal thing, the bank heist, it was an okay map update. For a crime-based season, it was so-so. I wish there was... I mean, the bank vaults were alright. The giant laser cannons were cool. Fletcher Kane was a cool-looking villain who didn't do anything. Bringing back Midas felt kind of weak and pointless. The Battle Pass characters were weak, too. It wasn't a great season in that aspect. The great thing was all the other stuff they added. They added the Mortal Kombat skins and the Mortal Kombat POIs. Fighting on that bridge over the spike pits. Or in the sewers with the acid pits. Awesome. It also gave us like Cowboy Bebop. It gave us Rocksteady. Gave us Adventure Time. It gave us The Undertaker. It's fine. I'm gonna put it there. Yeah. Monster Hunter Wilds. This is actually in March. So I didn't do a lot in February. February, I think I was just doing cleanup for other stuff and doing a lot of Genshin, Fortnite, and Marvel Rivals. It was just kind of like more of the same. Monster Hunter Wilds. Really cute story. I really liked the character designs, the monster designs, which I feel like were all a good evolution from Monster Hunter World. The weapon switching felt really good and made soloing feel easier and better. Like, I did a lot of the giant switch axe and dual wielding, and those were my two weapons. I did a little bit of the post-game, a little bit of the multiplayer stuff. It's not for me, but I appreciated it. The main quest to deal with, like, the White Wraith and all of that stuff was really solid. I think I have the best monsters I wrote down that I love the most. The Lalabarina, the giant rose spider with the giant flower on its back. So cool. The Ray Dao, who was the giant lightning dragon who, like, calcified or crystallized the sand every time the lightning struck. New Udra, who was the giant octopus covered in oil that would light itself on fire. Awesome. It was very fun. It was a fun game, right? It's just... It could have been more. I get why people were sad that it wasn't more. Arkveld, which is the White Wraith, and Zoshia were really, really cool new bosses. It had a lot of great characters. Alma was fine. Nada was a good, like, introductory character. Gemma was a baddie, and there's a reason she's still used in... Like, I still see her as the most marketed character in the game. I know, and I heard there was a pretty big fall-off after, like, the first patch. To my knowledge, they're actually still doing really well. I think they're doing the last title update, which means they're probably going to come up with their big DLC expansion, like they did with Worlds. They had Iceborne. Gemma's a baddie. I can't deny her, right? So I think it was under... it fell off a little bit, but I'm going to put it in great games, because the time I had with it was great. A little to the left, Again, this was me finishing up a game I did over Gamesmas last year. I finished it. I platinumed it. It was a lot of fun. It's the perfect cross-section for my ADHD and OCD hyperfixations. It's perfect bite-sized puzzles. Let me put it there. No, put it there. Yeah. If you want just to do like a puzzle, and they actually had the hardest platinum I had to do on that game. Oh no. What happened? Oh, damn it. Bad. Meh. Solid. Good. Great. Goaty. Damn it. Let's try again. There we go. Ugh. Terrible. Shite. Wait, no. Good. There we go. I had that there. Oh, great. I had them all organized, and now they're not organized anymore. Ugh! I think I had that there, right? Yeah. Did I forget this? Yes. I think that's where I was. A little to the left, yep. Split Fiction. I did not do Split Fiction on stream. I did it with one of my friends from work. And all we did at work was talk about how we wanted to get back and do more Split Fiction. It is hands down one of the greatest stories of the year. I think if you want to introduce someone to story-driven games, Split Fiction may be the best way to do that. Play it with them. Split Fiction, there we go. It is a great game. I love play it with them, but this is, I think, a perfect way to introduce someone to gaming. I love Mio, I love Zoe. They're so well written. The dialogue was so good. The gameplay showed how blending like storytelling and gameplay, the level transitions especially, I think the entire final sequence will go down as one of the most memorable events in gaming this year. Fun gameplay, great to enjoy with a friend, great emotional depth, 100%. And not only was it great storytelling, but it delved into like the nature of storytelling, so I think that is why it worked so well and was so memorable. Genshin 5.5. Day of Flames Return introduced us to Varese, let us play as Yansan. It gave us the volcano area in Natlan. It had some really cool, like the running and dashing mechanics made traversal fun. The main story was very forgettable, except for the Mushroom God. I liked the Mushroom God. The best thing about this patch, though, was the whole Ancient Dragon area. Beautiful. Finishing Little One's story was heartbreaking. As a lore fiend, we got so much lore, finding like the bones of Giaquatl, learning the truth about the end of the dragons was all nuts, and losing Little One was kind of heartbreaking, and I really hope he comes back one day. I think it was better than... Yeah, I think it's right there. No. Yeah. All right. Marvel. So that's the end of March, I think. We're moving on to April. April is when my gaming, I think April and June were when my gaming started to pick up. Marvel Rivals Season 2, the Hellfire Gala. We got the Krakoa maps. We got the Araco map. I think I'm going to put it in solid. It was solid. It gave us the big-thighed mommy, Emma Frost, who is still one of my Vanguard mains. Ultron, who was a lot of fun. The flying meta of the season really bugged me. I did not love the flying meta. Johnny Storm pissed me off. It gave us a couple mini games. The Age of Ultron minigame, the strategy minigame was a lot of fun, but the matches went on way too long. They were like 30-40 minute matches. The Gala skins were great. I still use as a Cloak and Dagger main, them being the final Battle Pass skin. I still use it from time to time. It's beautiful. It had giant head mode. It was dumb in like short bursts. There was some good stuff there. Skull and Bones. Janky, weird. I didn't fall in love with it, but I didn't hate it, you know? I didn't hate Skull and Bones. The naval battle system was like very fleshed out. I don't think it was... I know they were trying to change up what they had with the Assassin's Creed battle system. And I don't think it necessarily worked. I could see what they were going for. I could definitely see what they're going for. The map was huge. The characters were alright. I liked that there was a lot of customization options. It just didn't hook me. I played about, 15 to 20 hours. I didn't love it. For me, it was... I'm gonna put it there. Because I had more fun of a time than I did with like these. But I didn't like it as much as I like Genshin, so I think that's solid. It was meh. This game technically came out last year, but on PlayStation it came out this year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Hell yes. This game ruled. Beautiful animation, really high quality models, everything looked incredible. Troy Baker's performance as Indy, it was like watching a young Harrison Ford. It was so good. The Indy story was great. I love that they started with the flashback to the first Indiana Jones film in the temple. The mystery at the college. The Vatican was definitely the best part of the game, the tightest part. The whole Vatican storyline, the Castel Sant'Angelo, going into Vatican City, tightest part of the game. But I really did enjoy the puzzle stuff in Egypt and Giza. And then like the warping around with the Great Circle, like the warping around, like going from the submarine, or was it like a battleship on top of a mountain in the Himalayas to bombed out parts of China to Japan in the middle of a war zone, and you were running, like hopping from plane to plane, and lastly Sukhothai, which is what modern day Thailand, was beautiful. It was massive. The ship, the boat controls annoyed me a little bit. Like the whole giant snake temple was really cool, creepy as hell. And then the final level, like the final reveal in Iran, awesome. Dope. Really, again, I can't talk about the performances well enough, but also the comedy, really good writing. It felt like a real Indiana Jones movie because of how funny it was. It's hard to make... Like, Indy is good. Indy has great comedic timing when written well. There was a scene where he, like, falls and he's going up against a Nazi, and they just, like, have this weird moment, and he just punches him in the... And, like, it's just great comedic timing, great physical comedy. And Tony Todd was in it, rest in peace, as the giant. Locus. Oh, he was so good. I'm going to put this in great. I don't care what you say. I'm going to put it in great. I had so much fun with Indiana Jones. It was great. Back to Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero was the Daima DLC. The characters were fine. You know what? Yeah. Meh. Oh, I say rough DLC. Again, it's just more characters. They only had Japanese voice actors when this came out. Pansy and Glorio I liked. They were cute additions. I like Majin Ku. He slaps. Bunch of mini Vegetas. Or 3 different mini Vegetas. No story stuff. Again, it was weak. It was definitely the weakest of all 3 of the DLCs. Here we go. I've said it before. Our next game is phenomenal. The perfect convergence. Oh, sorry. The perfect convergence of so many aspects. The music, the art, the performances, the story, the gameplay. It is the perfect blending of all these great things. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 swept the Game Awards. More awards than anyone ever. It's in my great category, hands down. And I'm probably, it's probably going to be there for now. The way it draws inspiration from so many classic RPGs, like the parry dodge mechanic from Super Mario RPG and the Paper Mario franchise. Which I think works so well in turn-based, because not only does it keep you engaged on your turns, it keeps you engaged on your opponent's turns. It draws from old-school Final Fantasy, and I'd say Legend of Dragoon. Even with like the painted painted maps in certain areas, Chrono Cross, the Tales series. They've said they took inspiration from Tales, Persona. Even like action games like Devil May Cry, you could see it's the DNA of all these series distilled into this. The music, Lorien Testard, I want to recall his name, who they found on SoundCloud, made one of the most listened to OSTs of the year. The whole dev team story at Sandfall former Ubisoft devs who left, did this passion project over the course of the years. They got backing from people they believed in. The performances are all great. Ben Starr, Jennifer English, who deserved Game of the Year. So did Ben Starr. Charlie Cox was great. I think I understand. I don't think he deserved to be nominated because, like he said, he did 4 hours in a recording studio where other people, like Andy Serkis, bled for this and just gave shattering performances. It was definitely my highlight of the year, I think. There's so many people who think it was so good. I love this game so much. I'm rambling now. I am not speaking clearly or eloquently. I am actively rambling about Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It was so much fun playing with the mechanics, and once the mechanics clicked, I just wanted to keep playing. I did a bunch off stream, just grinding and stuff, because I just wanted to play with the mechanics, and like I fought 1 or 2 of the bosses off stream because I wanted to make crazy builds, and I did it on stream. I made a crazy burn build that was one of my favorite things. I loved it. It has such replayability, and I don't often do it with every game. I watched so many streamers, so many YouTubers all do Claire Obscure just to watch their reactions. Not only to big moments like the end of Act 1, the end of Act 2, the end of the prologue, fighting Simon, but like small moments, like talking to Eskie, who's probably Eskie and Minoko are my two best characters. Gorgeous game, 100%. All the environments, all the NPCs, original designs, 100%. Such good design work. The entire story. My top 2 games this year so far are stories about art, stories about storytelling, stories about art and music. Yeah. I don't want this video to just be me talking about how great Claire Obscure is, though. I should move on. After that was Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. It was a cool little story game. You could see the very clear inspiration from Life is Strange. I mean, because they had a lot of the same team. It's like a nice coming-of-age story. Awkward tale of teenage rebellion, teenage romance, teenage friendships. The whole mystery of, like, the pit and what happened to the 4th girl, Kat, who's that one right there, was very interesting. I feel like it was a great, like, slice of 90s nostalgia. Swan was a great main character, very awkward. I liked Autumn. She was cool. She was, like, the mature, motherly type. Nora was awkward and geeky and, like, a lame little faux rebel goth girl that 12-year-old me would have had a crush on. And Kat was a lot of fun, and her story got really dark really fast. Once you found out, like, in like a very tragic way, once you found out what was going on with her. I think the first batch of it, I think it was split in 4 episodes, right? So I think the first 2 episodes were great. The flipping back from the present to the 90s was a really good way of handling the storytelling and the mystery. I feel like the second half were very rushed. The ending with the bad guy in particular felt very rushed. I'm gonna put it there. It was fun. No, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, there. Now Fortnite had their first mini season, as they call it. Chapter 6 mini season 1, Galactic Battles. Somehow Palpatine returned. Fortnite's mini-season gave us Darth Jar Jar, Grievous, Mace Windu, Poe Dameron. All of the introduction of the Star Wars POIs into the island, like transforming the Samurai Fortress into Darth Vader's fortress, was really cool. Turning the masked area and the one of the city areas in the bottom into Tatooine, turning the swamps into the forest moon of Endor and having the Millennium Falcon there. All awesome. Using lightsabers was neat. The flying the ships was so overpowered but so fun. So I actually enjoyed the Star Wars mini season. I'm gonna put it in solid. No, I'm gonna put it there. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Genshin Impact 5.6 Paralogism. Holy crap. Yes. This was fun. This is a return to peak storytelling. This is where Hoyo, you could tell, started to course correct and start like actually presenting the lore to players in a more upfront, digestible way instead of, oh, you didn't hear about this lore? You didn't read this one book, which is in a hidden area of a map that itself is only accessible if you dive through a whirlpool and enter a whole new optional area? That was silly. I still did it, but it was silly. This is them clearly like saying, oh, it's time we start telling the story. Going back to Mondstadt felt so good. Seeing all the characters team up to fight the Abyss during a murder mystery trial was really neat. If it was fully voiced, I think I should go back and maybe watch it now that it's probably fully voiced. It would have been perfect, in my opinion. My only gripe is if you didn't play, I think it was like 1.3 and the storybook, the Simulanka updates, there would have been so many blind spots. They really need to find a way to make events replayable. It also, I guess, added a Scuffier, who has like really changed the meta of my cryo team. And Aoife. No way, bro! The Fontaine management sim game, all of that was in this. But I'm here for Paralogism. It was, yeah, really good. No way, bro! Another game that I played with coworkers. This one is a lot of fun. I played it with 2 coworkers and one of their husbands. The 4 of us, we played a couple nights in a row over, late May, was Repo. Repo, it feels a lot like Lethal Company. It really does, but I think it's a good evolution. It's such a good multiplayer experience. It's a good evolution, I think, of the Lethal Company, which was 2 years ago, Lethal Company? And the number one thing about this game is the proximity chat. The proximity chat was the best feature, and the monsters being so responsive was really cool to the sound. Moving, it was so funny. There were so many funny moments. The fact that you could damage all like the important artifacts that you needed to earn money was made for some hilarious moments. Yeah, Repo was a banger. It was a really good... It led to some really fun moments, though, because the proximity chat and needing to be so careful with all the stuff led more to our group sticking together. Like, going out in groups of 2. The power-ups, the weapons were solid. It could be a little janky, absolutely. There were some runs that felt a little boring or underwhelming, but like the dumb things that had like the king of the losers battle pit. So like we only played it for a few weeks from like May to June, but it was a good time. I'm going to put it up there. I'm going to put it in good. I think Repo was an underappreciated game this year. It was a banger. 100%. We are in June. We are fully in June now. These were just June games. We're about the halfway point of the year. Fortnite, Chapter 6, Season 3, Super. The superhero season. Cool season, fun power-ups, okay weapons, solid battle pass characters. It gave us Robin, the cheerleader I liked, who could transform into the Storm Beast, Morgan Mist, Light Rider. Yeah, like solid The new Superman was great, and tying him into the story, making him a mentor was cool. Daigo's return as the villain, with like the Spire enemies, and then that final fight against the giant tentacles and Daigo. Superman did kind of come in and save us and steal the kill, but it was cool. We got Hank Hill, Bob's Burgers, Cyborg from Teen Titans. We got a lot of really cool stuff for this season. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Yeah. Next was probably my biggest event of the... one of my two big events of the year. I did a complete playthrough of the Mafia franchise. Starting with Mafia 1 Definitive Edition. Really, really solid. Tommy Angelo is amazing and is still my favorite of all the Mafia protags. I love Tommy. I loved his story. I loved seeing his dealing with the Salieris, with Paulie and Sam, and him just getting in trouble, and his romance subplot. It was such a good story. My God, that race was terrible. The combat was solid. The driving was butt. Combat was good. Driving was butt. I still really enjoyed it. The story was the strongest part. That's how you met me. Yes, you came in during those streams. During my Mafia streams. It was good. I'm going to put... No, you know, I'm going to put Mafia 1 at the top of solid. No, I'm going to put Mafia 1 at the bottom of good. Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know, I'm actually going to move these two up. No, I can't. I think we're okay there. But I loved it. Tommy was the best. After that was probably my comfort game of the year, Jurassic World Evolution 2. I put a lot of time into Jurassic World Evolution 2. It is a solid game. It is not a good game, not a great game, not a mad game, not a bad game. It is a solid game. It was my comfort game of the year. I did most of the campaign, some of the DLC campaigns, but the majority of my time was spent in sandbox mode, in the free builder mode, making parks, designing them. I had a lot of fun trying to maximize the park appeal, designing the lagoons. The aviaries were neat, walking around the park in like first person mode to kind of like get a feel for it was just cool. I made a lot of really dumb stuff in Jurassic World Evolution 2. That's when I bought a Nintendo Switch. And we got the first Nintendo Switch 2 game, Mario Kart World. Oof, this is a rough launch. And it's a definite evolution for kart games, kart racing games with the open world. The continuous tracks kind of sucked at points. I don't like the continuous go from track 1, part of track 2, go to track 3. And that's your 3 laps. I didn't love it. You know? I wanted a race on a set level. Sometimes you couldn't. Not cool. The character variation, awesome. The costumes, very cute. My very first stream, which I think I deleted by accident, so I don't think there's any record of it. It's not on my VOD channel. It's just nowhere. As far as I know, I think I just got rid of it. Who knows? But I remember I did all the Grand Prix, and then I did a lap around the entire island just to get like a feel for it. And I had a good time. It was fun. The exploration was really neat. But as a kart racer, I still think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is leagues better as a kart racer. The controls are great. It handles very well. It's just, it doesn't hit that same itch that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did. I will say, however, the music in it was phenomenal and deserves more recognition. I think it was one of the best soundtracks of the year. I'm gonna put it in solid, but played all these more than I did that. I'm gonna put it there. No, I'm gonna put it. It has to go above those. It's got to go there. Genshin Impact 5.7. Space and Time for You. Very good patch. Again, it gave us Skirk, who I love and is on one of my main teams, with Escoffier, Ganyu, and Farina on my Freeze team. Skirk is incredible. Her story missions were amazing. It was a very long story mission, and getting to learn more about Certology, really cool. I think this also introduced, no, the last one introduced, but this one let us play as Dahlia, who's fine, I guess. He's just kind of there. The main thing we got in this patch, though, was the Dainsleif quest. A Space and Time for You. The whole, like, bleeding aspect of the past and the present in Natlan was really cool. With Deirdrith, learning about the spaceship, learning about the keys to the spaceship, getting really cool lore on Dane and his like sword master, and they're using Dane's memories to recreate Conria for the Loom of Fate. It's a really cool setup to other stuff. I think Skirk was the best thing about the patch, though, so I'm going to put it in good, but I'm going to put it there. I think it was the second best of the Genshin 5 patches. We now enter our summer, July and August. Mafia 2, baby! I wasn't sure about Vito at first, knowing what was going to happen and what Vito was eventually going to do because of what we saw with Tommy at the end of 1. But I loved this pathetic failure of a man. He just kept screwing up time and again. He got caught and was forced into the army. He got caught and was forced into prison. He sucks, but is just so damn cool. And he's so about the life. Tommy got resistant to it really quick. Vito was about the life. Joe drove me nuts. I loved seeing him work together and working their way up to made men. Joe drove me nuts. For a story about loyalty, like what does loyalty really mean? Really satisfying. It introduced Leo to us. Again, I didn't love the changes in combat, and the driving still sucked. But it was a good game. I'm putting it on the bottom of good because I think Mafia 1 was better. And I think, you know what? No, I'm actually going to put it at the top of solid. Because Mafia 1 City was also better. The map was better, the characters I think were more memorable. There. I then went back. This is when I continued a game that I started last Gamesmas, but I didn't play it again until July, August. TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Great arcade beat 'em up. Fun characters. Did a few levels with a friend. We beat the game twice. The music's a lot of fun. It felt like being back in an old school arcade because of how little janky it is. A lot of weird lore, classic characters, Mona Lisa, Trag, Rat King, Dirtbag. Weird stuff. One of the DLCs was Usagi Yojimbo, who I friggin' love. It's a really good group game if you have nostalgia. It's a good couch co-op game. If you have nostalgia for TMNT and like arcade games, it's pretty good. No, I'm gonna move you up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mafia 3. Ooh, boy. I'm going to have some thoughts on this. I'm going to have some thoughts on Mafia 3. It is the longest and most confusing part of the Mafia series. It was way too big of a game. To its detriment. Lincoln is great. His story, awesome. His revenge tale, awesome. The second greatest revenge tale I played this year. The gameplay loop was terrible. The gameplay loop ruined this game for me, Mafia 3. Do a bunch of BS side missions again and again. Keep doing BS side missions until you unlock one mission to unlock a mini boss, and then you could like persuade or kill him. Then go back to do a bunch of BS missions, unlock a new mini boss, get him. After you do both mini bosses, you then get to do the same and unlock an area boss. And then that's how you get that area. But then do the same thing 5 more times. So 10 more 10 more mini bosses, then 5 more area bosses, and then after you do all that, you have to do it all 3 more times to get the 3 lieutenants. And then after you get all 3 of the lieutenants, then you get the final boss. Grindy, repetitive bullshit. It ruined Mafia 3's pacing. It had abysmal pacing. It was unnecessary padding. It was bad. The only 2 levels that were truly even memorable. Thinking back now, I mean, I guess the final casino was good. The red light district was okay. The only 2 levels that were truly, truly memorable were the riverboat and crashing the riverboat and it tipping sideways. But even that felt like a cheap version of the riverboat mission from Mafia 1, which was better. Sorry. And the best level, arguably, in Mafia 3 was the very first level. The destroyed and flooded amusement park. Awesome. The music was solid because, again, it's licensed music. And I don't think I'll ever be able to listen to Paint It Black the same way again. The DLC was also really solid. I counted the DLC as part of it because I did it all in one go. Because, again, I played the Definitive Edition. So whereas other things I have the DLC separate, I played this all in one go. That's why I'm counting the DLC here. The whole nuke in Cuba was really cool. And the weird cult that capped off at an insane asylum in the middle of a hurricane and lightning was striking the insane asylum. All of that was awesome. The driving one was okay, I guess. It was very driving focused, and the driving in this game was better, but not great. The combat was fine. I appreciated how many options they gave you in this one for the weapons. Like, I eventually just started using silenced weapons and throwing knives and stuff. I'm going to put it in solid. I'm going to put it kind of low. Because, again, it dragged so much. What would I rather play? Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Which is a bummer. Because I love Lincoln and I love his story. But the game was not good. I mean, the game was good. But the game was so badly paced and bloated, full of bull. Okay. Marvel Rivals Season 3. The Abyss Awakens. Phoenix, Blade, Double Duelist, yikes. But again, they know now, and they're working on it now to do less duelists. It was still a lot of fun. Clintar's Husk, the Throne of Null maps were good, and the new mode. We got the beach skins. The beach skin for Luna and Psylocke. And Loki with the banana hammock. The Venom skins were great for the symbiote skins for like Groot and Jeff. The rest of the skins were not great. I think the merging ones, the Phoenix skins were kind of weak, and the half Phoenix, half symbiote skins were all right. I thought the ranked grind was so-so. I really wasn't feeling it for the season. I remember checking out pretty early on in the season. I think it was a little worse than these. I'm gonna put it there. Yeah. Now for a game. How should I phrase this? This game was like That was a fluffy one, yeah. This game, how can I phrase this? It was just top tier. It was a great game. It was just... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. It'll come to me. I'm talking about Peak. Again, this is one of the games I played with my coworkers. We did this after we stopped playing Repo. We did this a bunch of afternoons during our summer break in August. We also did it like right after work, I think in July. I think. Yeah, it was great. It's a game about climbing, and it's great. The stamina health system, again, maybe I just like games with proximity chat. Because it makes things fun, and it makes so many funny moments. Like hearing people like, ah! Learning the systems, the items, the layout was cute. The little ghosts haunting you were cute. I didn't mind dying as much because I died a lot. In Peak, Scoutmaster Myers was creepy and terrifying. It was a cute game. And it's one of the dev teams I still follow because their social media team is so good. And I logged in a couple of weeks ago for the Baby No Money concert with Iron Mouse. They encourage modding. They encourage modders. Maybe I'll try and get a game going again. I'm putting it under... I think I liked my time... I liked Repo a lot. I think I liked my time in Peak better. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say it was my... Lots of hollers in the distance. I'm going to put Peak in great. Peak was some of the most fun gameplay moments I had this year. Alright. Now for the beginning of my biggest event. Mafia was big, but my biggest event of the year was my playthrough of the Final Fantasy series. It started with Final Fantasy Friday, but it grew, and eventually I was doing Final Fantasy every day. And I started it with the Pixel remasters, with Final Fantasy 1, the OG. It was so solid. I could see where all the tropes came from, where the iconic Final Fantasy spirit started. It gave us classes: White Mage, Black Mage, Fighter, Thief. Garland was a good enemy. The story was quaint. The story was simple, but you could see where everything got its start and why Final Fantasy was so successful. If I had to go back, what would I rather play? Final Fantasy. Solid. DK. Donkey Kong. Sorry, DK! Fun game. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Fun game. The core Mario team that did Odyssey, you could tell they liked this. They did a good job. While I don't think it controls as well as Odyssey did, it controls very good. It's the first good game for the Nintendo Switch. The interactability, is that a word? Interactiveness with the environment, being able to rip out anything, destroy anything. You could smash until there was nothing left of the island below you. Punching everything was really satisfying. There were some puzzles that I'm like, no, I'm just gonna punch through this wall and just keep going straight. That's it. I'm just gonna keep going straight through this wall, and it lets you do it. It let you solve puzzles in really dumb ways, really fun ways. The transformations were fun. The music was endlessly awesome, particularly the Bonanza music. It just was bum 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 bum. It was great. Pauline was a really good sidekick, even if the fact that she's a child doesn't make sense in the Mario timeline, and I can't complain about it enough. She's a good singer. She's a lot of fun. She does the vibe very well. The villains were great. I liked Voidco as villains, mostly Poppy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry why I liked Poppy the most. I also liked Void Kong. He was cool. I did his voice like this. Haha, I liked him. The boss fights were fun. But obviously the final boss fight, seeing that golden globe stuck in the vanadium root. I'm like, I know what that is. And fighting K. Rool, fighting him as the king of rot in New Donk City. So damn cool. Such a good boss fight. Really great music. It was a very good game. Dare I say great? Yeah, dare I say great. It goes in the great. It deserves it. Okay. Genshin Impact 5.8. The big summer event. First time that a summer event was tied into progression of the main story. Thank God. More of this. The easy breeze islands and the resort area. The chill summer vibe felt so good. I loved the ashas. I loved the painting mechanic. The minigames were a lot of fun for what they're worth. Bennett being the main character was so satisfying. And if we start unraveling the lore of all these characters, I would love that. Learning about his backstory, his family, his bad luck, him being from Natlan, the marriage of Ari, the Bakunawa with Enjo. Sounds like the weird minigames were a lot of fun, especially the DJ stuff. And that whole cutscene with the DJ. Oh, it was beautiful. And then after all of that, we met Inefa, got the Dragon Lord lore, learned about Nodcry, set up for the new area. It was really good, and I'm gonna put it right here. Yeah. You know, I'm actually gonna move. No, because Escoffier was fine. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm gonna put it right there. Better than Hunters, not as good as Season 1 of Rivals. And I think Paralogism was better. Even though I love that it was fully voiced, Mualani and Chaska being so important, Venti being in Natlan. Great. And then finally was the capstone on our Mafia journey. Mafia Old Country. A much shorter game than 1, 2, and 3. Tight. Not that it was bad. It was story-driven, very cinematic. Enzo was a really good protagonist. I'd say on par with Lincoln in terms of story. His whole shtick of, like, truly starting from the bottom. Starting as a literal slave to a stable hand to a enforcer to a made man. Because of, like, the whole horse race, the bleeding ceremony. Really cool. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who watched the Mafia, like, former mafioso reacts to Mafia Old Country, and he was breaking down about, like, what that ceremony would entail. The love story between Enzo and Isabella, amazing. I loved their romance. The chemistry between those two characters, phenomenal. I was hoping for a better outcome. It was a good watch. Yeah, I thought it was a very good one. Don Torrisi was a great boss and foil. Cesare was so likable until that it broke my heart with how things ended with Cesare. The game was very, very well done. I went back and played it 2 times, 2 more times, so I could platinum it. Because I did an easy run where I got every collectible. Then I did a hard run. The music was good. Great acting. It was just a little short, and I feel like it didn't make the ending hurt. The ending was rough. My boy Enzo. I hope they do a DLC for it. That's all I'm going to say. I hope they do a DLC. I doubt they will. I haven't heard any rumors. There's no major story DLCs announced as of right now. Like, I wouldn't mind playing as Isabella on her way to the new land, or Cesare seeking redemption. Anything like that could be cool. I wish it made a bigger splash. I really do. I think because the gameplay was so tight, it's better than Mafia 3. Even though I think Mafia 3 at its core had a better story, this was so narratively driven. I'm going to put it underneath 2. I'm going to put it at the bottom of good. Final Fantasy 2. Fight me on this. Final Fantasy 2 is a sleeper hit. I have heard so much rough stuff about Final Fantasy 2, and I'm glad I did the Pixel Remaster version, which had like the HP part get streamlined. The combat was fun, and off stream I would sit there for like 3-4 hours, watch videos on my second monitor, while I just use the same moves over and over again to power them up. And it's cool. I liked the job system. I liked the story. Really solid. You could see where a lot of Final Fantasy, like the heart of Final Fantasy, you could see in 1. A lot of the actual stuff from Final Fantasy, you could see in 2. Ultima, Leviathan, the Iron Giants, Marlboros, airships, Cid. A lot of cool side characters. Minwu, Leon, Guy talking to beavers. My only complaint is the Empire was kind of a weak villain, the Empire of Polynesia. I liked the rotating supporting cast. Minwu was one of them. Gordon, the Dragoon, Highwind, all cool. I actually think... Yeah, I'm going to put it right after 1. I think it's a solid game. I think it deserves more credit. Fortnite 4.0 for 6.4. Shock and awesome. Shock and awesome. There we go. I will say this first off, the Power Ranger season. That live action trailer, the live action combat trailer, is one of the best things I've ever seen Fortnite do. Hands down. Starting out with like them fighting bugs to switching to a live action Power Rangers fighting alongside the heroes against bugs in a live action, like, it was awesome. Playing as the Power Rangers was cool. Fighting the bugs was alright. The Bug Blaster was was a little OP. The roly-polies were fun. The giant nuke was nuts. I only got to play as the Megazord once, and it was neat. Let's see, what else? We got K-pop Demon Hunters in record time. They worked so fast to make the K-pop Demon Hunters and put them in the game. Really impressive. It also, I guess, had Fort Nightmares, of which I really only cared about the Scooby-Doo skins. It was an alright season. I'm going to put it a little bit... I think it's better than Lawless. Put it there. Final Fantasy 3. Final Fantasy 3. They clearly tried to change stuff up in Final Fantasy 3. Let you make your own characters, swap jobs constantly, which was neat. The whole floating continent was really cool. We had some like really good side characters. I wish the main cast actually had personality though. You know? Like the side characters were awesome. The main characters were just there. Zandy, Cloud of Darkness were some of the weaker villains. They were so-so. I love the design of Zandy and Cloud of Darkness. They were great. This is where we got to see Titan, Ifrit, Shiva, Ramu for the first time. There was a lot of cool like sequencing, like using specific jobs and abilities to solve certain fights, like puzzles, which is really cool. I think it was the weakest of the originals, though. Not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. Final Fantasy IV, going right into 4. This is going to be a surprising upset in the OG Final Fantasy category, which most people have a general consensus on. OG Final Fantasy, I think 4 is my favorite. I think Cecil's story, going from the Dark Knight of Baron and the Air Force to finding redemption to becoming a paladin, was top tier. So much of the cast was great. Rosa was amazing. Great love interest. Good supporting character. Rydia as this precocious child, the last of the summoners, getting more powerful. Kane, he annoyed me with how much he kept getting brainwashed, but I liked him. Palom and Porum, the precocious kids. Edward, our spoony bard. Yang. Tella's revenge story. The Tower of Babel. The Lunar Whale. I'm just listing stuff off, and it's great. This is probably the best of the OG Sids, too. When we were escaping the underground and he jumps off the airship with a bomb just to stop all the following airships. Really cool. Golbez was a great villain, and the archfiends that served him were really cool. And the whole turn, I really only ever knew of Golbez as the villain. I'd never even heard of Zemus. And the whole moon stuff was great. I'm actually going to put this in Final Fantasy IV. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. There you go. No, there. That's where I won Final Fantasy IV for me. Oof, the next one was a rough one. Shadow Labyrinth. It's not the worst game out there. It's an okay Metroidvania action side-scroller. I played better ones. It was fine. The combos were all right. The whole use of Pac-Man IP was weird, and the nightmarish Pac-Chomp thing was weird. The lore was asinine and front-loaded in a really bad way. It really did not hook me. I'm gonna put it on... Is it the top of bad, or is it... It's the bottom of meh. Because for some people, it might be good. For me, it was meh. September, Luna 1. Genshin Impact, Luna 1, welcome to Nod Cry. We have arrived. The mechanics were very weird too, 100%. Yeah, I really didn't like it. I did not like it. You know what? I feel bad for... There you go. No. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Nod Cry. Sorry. Right here. We've arrived in Nod Cry. The first act was okay. It took a few minutes to find its footing. The second act, introing all the new characters, introducing the area, the plot elements. It was a lot, but it was worth it when we got the tease about Rerir and finally got to see him in the flesh. So cool. We met Columbina, we met Sandrone. Aino has grown on me a lot as a playable character, a decent setup character. Lauma, elegant, beautiful, cool. Her story was great. Flynn's neat, his intro mysterious. Seeing him fight Rerir, awesome. Nefer and Yehoda were cool. Again, there were so many beautiful cutscenes in this. And I like how they integrated all their stories and characters in the main quest. It makes everything feel more impactful, more important. We got that weird stuff with our sibling. It was in Act 2. But it paid off with the story in the end. I'm going to put this... There. Yeah, I'm going to put it underneath Hunters, above Monster Hunter Wilds. It was good. Took a while to get into. Next up. Indiana Jones, Order of the Giants, DLC. The Circle... The Great Circle had DLC, Order of Giants. It was a few hour expansion, entirely set in Rome, right? Dealing with the cult of Mithras. Father Ricci and his parrot were fun new characters. There was a lot of neat puzzles. Some social exploration. Since it was all like in the catacombs and temples underneath Rome, all the setting was the same. Fighting cultists was alright. Once you got like the big heavy weapons to knock out the cultists, it felt great. The story was okay. It was a so DLC. The final fight against the Minotaur, the giant who was dressed like the Minotaur in the ruins of the Colosseum, was cool. I felt it. It was enthralling. You know what? I'm gonna do a little. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna move them up to good. Yeah, I feel it's fair. Okay. Final Fantasy V. This is an interesting one. Again, very different. You could tell they were doing some very different stuff with it. In terms of characters, Bartz was a very fun, kind of like dopey, simple main character. He also had Boko, who's a good bird. I loved Lena and Faris and their sister relationship. The great supporting princess and the secret pirate captain, long lost sister. Galif was a great old man mentor character. His sacrifice and replacement by Kryl was touching. The whole like previous generation hero inheritance story was cool. The job system was great. The job system was so immersive. Any character could be any job, but you had to level them up in that job. And I did a lot of that. This is also like the first time we got Phoenix, Tonberry, and Gilgamesh, who was such a good NPC, such a good recurring character in this story, was Gilgamesh. Exdeath was a cool villain, but him being a trio is weird. There. Final Fantasy VI. Objectively, the best of the OG Final Fantasies, and I get that. The best of the originals, the best of the pixel remasters. The story is top tier. Every character is amazing. Terra might not have been the strongest main character and needed to be fleshed out over time. But her story was great. Locke was awesome. I loved Locke's story. Celis, the General, Edgar and Sabine, the twin brother storylines. Strago and Realm, Umaru, Mog, Setzer, Cyan, Shadow, Go-Go, and Gao. I think that's everyone. All solid. I loved the progression of the story to like the destruction of the world by Kefka, who's a great villain. And then the reuniting of these characters, and that's how we get their completed story arcs in this hellish afterworld. It had so many memorable moments. The poisoning of the river, the ghost train. I got to sumo the ghost train. The opera house, and that da na na na. The rising of the three god island. I forget what it was called. With the Gestalian Empire. The cultist tower where you could only use magic. Fighting Kefka is weird, like the multi-stage Kefka. Great music, great cutscenes. I get why it is one of the most famous entries in the series. And I get that it is the best. For me, it just wasn't. I'm going to put it there. Above Wilds. Yeah. No, I'm going to put it there. No, I'm going to put it there. Yeah. I don't know why. I just think I personally connected with 4 a little bit better. Okay. Technically, this next one was a part of Fortnite Shock and Awesome. Right here. It was technically a part of it. But I'm going to talk about it so much, and I'm counting it as its own thing, because it was the best thing out of the season, and maybe the best thing out of this entire chapter. The Fortnite Daft Punk experience. The music slapped. The arena blew me away. Starting with Contact from Random Access Memories, floating in space, then blasting through the techno dreamscape. Then you wake up in the desert where they did their goodbye epilogue video. If you look up Daft Punk epilogue, it's the desert. Right. And then it's where they did you find the shattered helmet. And then you go into the pyramid from the Alive tour, which I got to see. I was at the Alive tour in 2007, the best show I've ever seen in my life. The mini games were solid. The jamming out with the Crescent dolls, the fighting robots with Robot Rock, and then the Lego shipbuilding with Around the World. But the absolute best part, hands down, was the concert itself. Hands down. That concert was so good. I vibed to it. I spent a few hours over the next 2 days, I think, just chilling in the arena, skating around the rings as they were like constantly moving, just emoting with strangers, bouncing on the arena. It was so much fun. I have more to say about this experience than the rest I had more to say about this experience than I did the rest of the season, which goes to show it was great. I can't put it higher because it's not a game, but I'm going to put it at the bottom of good. Because it was just that good, you know? Next up. We're getting very recent now. This was what I did for most of October. Ghost of Yotei. A worthy successor to Tsushima. I truly believe so. A great action game. The combat was so good. The different weapon styles as like stances. The Yari, the kunai, the sickle and chain. I forget. Kunaigawa. No. The dual katanas, the odachi, all awesome. And they basically treated the weapons as stances, but also the ghost mechanics were very good, as the Onryo killing in secret. Atsu was a really good character. I said it multiple times during the Game Awards. Erika Ishii killed it. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a big fan of Erika Ishii. She was great. And I will say, as a fan, her like cheering like a schoolgirl when Jennifer English beat her, because she's so proud of Jennifer English, and they're friends. They took pictures together before the show and after the show. Yeah, she killed it in the role. She was so good. The story was a classic revenge tale. Character with a list of names, right? Hunting down the Yotei Six. I think 2 or 3 of them were okay. Like the snake was whatever. It was the opening. I get it. And the dragon and the spider at the end. That was more tying in with her story of giving up revenge. But hunting down the Oni was awesome. The burning fields and going to the Oni's castle and fighting the Kitsune in the frozen north and the ninjas dropping out of trees. Awesome. I liked the mentor stories. Saito was such a good villain. Saito was a really satisfying villain. Most of the NPCs are really good. I liked how they tied them in. I talked about this during my Assassin's Creed playthrough recently. Random NPCs you run into, every NPC felt like part of the greater story, because they would share information on secrets, on the movements of the Yotei troops, her entire story with her brother, and that reunion, and then losing him was heartbreaking. I'm glad we didn't lose too many people in this game, and I'm glad we didn't lose our horse, who I named... It was Flame, right? It was the Japanese word for flame. Hikari, right? I don't remember what it was. Hanabi? No. How did I not remember my horse? Whatever. Every scene looked beautiful. Like, as soon as you killed the snake and erupted through the forest and rode into Ezo for the first time, gorgeous. I'm putting that up there in like memorable moments with the end of Split Fiction or all of Expedition 33. Yote was so, cinematically pleasing. Thank you, Solar. It was gorgeous. The setup to every duel, I took multiple pictures. I played around the camera more in this game than I did in any other game. I really liked Yote. I'm going to put it above that. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. I can't put it... yeah, I think that's right. I think it's going to be in my top games. I really liked it. It was so beautiful. Great acting, great combat. Really good music, and good authentic music, and playing the shamisen was beautiful. Marvel Rivals Season 4, Heart of the Dragon. It was okay. Angela and Daredevil were both good. Angela's okay, not my cup of tea. Daredevil's fun. The new Kunlun map's alright. It did give us zombies, which I think is the best. It's a really fun PvE. I crush it with Jeff. I've played with Jeff so much on the zombies map. It gave us new swimsuits, the new Dark Phoenix skin, classic Captain America. It had a lot of good stuff. And how it had Mecha Moon Knight and the Grim Lady Hela, which I run the Mecha Moon Knight. I barely did any quick play. I did just enough rank to get gold and get out. I wasn't feeling it. I think I felt it even less than the Abyss season. But I played zombies more. So I'm going to put it there. Yeah. Jeff on zombies is great. I think the zombies mode is still up, right? Yeah, I powered up his hide and seek ability, where he just swims underground. I powered that up so much. And that's all I focus on. I focus on health, damage, and powering up hide and seek as Jeff, and he just wrecks. Next up. Sleeper RPG of the Year. Digimon Story Time Stranger. Amazing cutscenes, amazing music, really good character models for 400 plus Digimon and humans, but all the Digimon have special moves, are all voiced. Every character is voiced in the cutscenes. Really cool storyline, great. There was it dragged a little in the middle, like with in the forest, and in the beach areas. They dragged. I feel like those two dragged a little, and in the volcano area. But then, when you started doing the time travel stuff, like the opening was strong, the ending was very strong. But the exploration was solid, the gameplay was fun. Digimon was amazing, quality voice acting, 100%. Using the Olympian Digimon in place of the Royal Knights, which the games always love to do, or the Chinese Devas, was a cool concept. I like the Olympians. I love the timelines, I love the time travel component, it was done really well. The insane reveals about a Geomon and the origins of the main character. It completely, like an endgame reveal about the main character, turned the entire game topsy-turvy. I love the insane depth of the Digivolution lines. I played a lot with them, powering them up to ridiculous levels. They're all currently maxed out for me. I really, really liked it. I had a great time streaming it. The DLC made me start playing it again. And I'm going on doing my hard mode playthrough to unlock Mega Plus difficulty playthrough. It's going in great. It's gonna go right there for me. It's in my great games this year. I loved it. Now for something a little more divisive. Pokemon Legends Pizza. Doing it immediately after Digimon hurt. This was a rough one, because objectively, the gameplay mechanics are very cool, making it the first real-time real-time battling system, where you needed to strategize where you were, the distance of your move, having your Pokemon follow you, using the legend mechanics for evolving, the speed at which you level, all great. The models for the Pokemon are okay. There was only 200 something of them, and going from Digimon to this felt rough. The story was rough. It started out okay and ended okay, but the entire middle of the game was rough. It felt both badly paced and slow, yet also rushed. like skipping giant chunks of the Z to A rank, which is kind of the name of the game, going from Z to A. It's kind of in the name of the game, and you skip from what, S to F? The repeating megas, so you would basically go to a couple levels, do fights again and again and again until you level up 2 times, then go fight 3 mega Pokemon, then go back and do a bunch of grinding, rank up, go fight 3 megas, go a bunch of grinding, go do a bunch of fighting, go back and fight 3 megas again and again and again. And that same problem I had with Mafia 3. A bad gameplay loop. The characters were cool. Emma. I like Emma. Corbo. Canary, Laban, and Jacinth. Lysander's coming back was cool. I do wish it was better. But the flaws and the incredibly lame parkour and the very rough I loved Legends Arceus because of the exploration. Because you got to explore all these amazing areas. And all of this being just a bland looking city hurt. And again, no voice acting still in a big budget game. Or sorry, the lack of budget shows. It was what, like a $12 million budget? Which is insane for a Pokemon game. I heard a lot of people say it's a Switch 1 game that got delayed. So they would have a Pokemon game the same year the Switch 2 launched. It was supposedly ready at the tail end of 2023, early 2024, but got delayed till this year, which is nuts. But I believe it. It's a Switch 1 game with a Switch 2 port. It runs better on a Switch 2. I'm gonna put it in solid. It's a good game, but its flaws hold it back in a very real way. The lack of explorable areas, the lame parkour, the lackluster level, the horrible pacing of the story, alternating between delayed and rushed. Yeah. November. Genshin Impact Luna 2. Pretty good. Continue the streak of solid Genshin updates. I think on the whole it was better than Luna 1. In fact, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be the best that Genshin was this year. The story, the Rarir's backstory, the battle against Rarir, learning his past, the alliance, building with Arlecchino and Varka, awesome. Columbina was great. I also really liked Nefer's story. Her past, the Ibis King. Oh, you know what, actually? The big downside of this patch was Milliastra Wonderland. That's actually going to bump it down a few in my book. Right to there. Milliastra Wonderland. Sucked. They wasted so much on Milliastra Wonderland. I don't like the mode personally. I really wish we could delete it to save space. It is half-baked. I've heard a lot of complaints about it. I'm not going to articulate them all here. I think it is a waste of space and a waste of dev time. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Great Warriors game. For when it comes to Warriors, the 1 versus 1,000 combat, this is very good. It's a definite improvement over Age of Calamity. I love that it all takes place in the past. We focus on the imprisoning war. We focus on these characters. I like that they introduce new characters. They don't randomly pull in the characters like they did in Age of Calamity. They don't pull in Riju and Sidon to go in the past, and that was weird. I like that it was just Zelda, Rauru, and just all in the back and in the past. And I loved a lot of the new characters, particularly Calamo, the wise Kraken Korok, Artie, the baddie chief of the Gerudos, and Rafika, the Pompadour Rito. the variety of styles made they got a lot out of the small number of building blocks. Like, they only had so many weapons, but the different styles, every character wielding the same weapons differently, gave a lot of replayability to a lot of the missions, made leveling characters fun. I liked a bunch of the new enemies. The Ganon Archfiends. It was a solid game, a good capstone on the era of the Wild, because we said Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity, Age of Imprisonment. This story is done. The next Zelda they do will be its own thing. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of good. No, I think I'm going to put it there. Yeah. Okay. The next mini season from Fortnite, The Simpsons. I loved this one. Smaller map, quicker matches, quicker battles. It had really good energy, and it kind of got me back into it. The constant changes to the map, like the Donut Storm, the Evil Homer, the Clone Homers, made it worth logging back in every week. It's probably the best season we've had since the beginning of the chapter. And I will say, we did on the ending, on stream, we did the finale of this mini season, which was also the finale of the chapter. And oh my god, it was the best thing Fortnite's ever done. It friggin' ruled. Fighting the Dark One, fighting this eldritch god with Superman and the bride from Kill Bill and K-pop girlies. And all the characters, and watching Homer Simpson body slam an Elder God, and while King Kong put him in a headlock, and Miku was shooting a Miku Miku beam on top of Godzilla. It was so much fun. It may have been the most fun Fortnite moment. I'm gonna put it there. Yeah. Jurassic World Evolution 3. The Return of the Comfort Game. There you go. The systems are all definitely improved, but I think the story was a little weaker. I like how the research carries over between all the different missions. Like, you would start in Montana, and then you would go to Canada, and whatever research you unlocked in Montana carries over. So you can bounce back, and then you go to Japan, and then you go to Hawaii, and all the research carries over between each site. It's cool. The main reason I play is for sandbox mode. The newest mechanic they added in this one was breeding, so you could get baby dinosaurs. Adorable. I turned off aging, so I just have a bunch of baby dinosaurs. We have dinosaur petting zoos, riverboat tours, hot air balloon tours. There's some really cool stuff. Waterfalls. They let you make natural cliffs now, so my cages are just pits in the earth, so the dinosaurs can't escape. But it just creates a more natural feel for them. We just need bridges, and I'd be set, honestly. I wish they'd add bridges. I like a lot of the returning and new dinos. The brushes and modding scene, and like being able to upload your own stuff and take like from a free creator shop is really cool, and has made customization kind of insane. I didn't play it as much as I did 2, but it's objectively a better game, but I personally enjoyed 2 more. Maybe because it was fresh for me. I'm going to put it there at the bottom of good. No, I'm going to put it there. Marvel Rivals Season 5. I think this is the best Marvel Rivals has been in a while. I like Season 5 so far. It's been solid. In terms of the Times Square map, which we were just in for the ball dropping, is a treat. The decorations went up and they were cute. The big Christmas tree. Gambit is fun, and I really like that he's a strategist and he's a support. Rogue is great. She's not my cup of tea. She is complex, but she's cool. I've done her a few times. The giant 18 versus 18 mode is chaotic. The best thing the season has done is the Winter Jeff mode. Gambit is a lot of fun to play. 100% agree. As a support main, I really like it. The Winter Jeff map, yeah, is so much fun. Jeff's Winter Wonderland is a lot of fun. I think this is the best Marvel Rivals has been this year. So I'm actually going to put it just above Rivals Season 1. Not as good as Paralogism, better than Season 1. Next up, hands down, one of the best stories of the year, Dispatch. Love it. The return of Telltale storytelling and Telltale gameplay. Studio Ad Hoc did such a good job on so many levels. Partnering with Critical Role was the right move because there's such good voicing in this. I think the strongest suit of this, though, is not only the story, but the writing. The writing for the story and the characters. We're in the era of the superhero. There's so much superhero media out there. The Boys, the MCU, the DCU, the DCEU, the Invincible, Brightburn, just so much. So introducing, 10 different heroes? Mecha Man, Blonde Blazer, Invisigal, Chase, Malevola, Punch-Up, Flambe, Golem, Coupe, Prism, Waterboy, Phenomenon, Sonar. 13. Introducing 13 big characters and making all of them distinct and likable in a real way is hard, and they nailed it. I literally love every hero in this game. This story is easily in my top 10 of the year. The story was so good. I love the episodic nature. Yeah. Hollow Knight Silksong. People have been waiting so long for this. I replayed Hollow Knight in preparation for it. I did my first run on stream and got impatient and just played a bunch off stream. Yeah, I love it. The music is good. The pace is good. It is definitely an improved challenge, and you can see that this was originally meant to be a DLC because it kind of expects you to play Hollow Knight, even though I had to retrain myself because I was so used to pogoing and the healing in midair and the swapping out for the different weapon styles and the gun, the capitalism gun. The bosses are great, the clockwork bosses. I haven't beaten it yet, but I've been really, really enjoying my time with it. It's definitely in Game of the Year. I'm going to put it here. For me. That's where it's been for me. And another... The music in this game is beautiful. I actually say I think it's my second favorite soundtrack of the year. Silksong. Yeah. Fortnite. We're in December now. We're in the final month of the year. Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 1 Pacific Break. New update, Hollywood pack season. I like what they did with the Back to the Future stuff. I hate what they did with the Winterfest cabin. The Winterfest going on right now. You can't accumulate gifts in the Winterfest. That's bad. The Battle Pass is all right. It has the Bride and Marty McFly. I don't like the new systems for getting bonus skins that forces you to play other modes that you might not play. It's an okay season. We'll see where they go from here. It's solid. Yeah. This is where we started Gamesmas. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. This is a classic kart racer. Unlike Mario Kart World, it was a really solid kart racer. Took me a few minutes to adjust to the speed. Overall, solid. I've done a few matches since day one of Gamesmas. The characters are great. I like that they talk to each other if they're rivals. The tracks are a lot of fun. The music slaps. I made the mistake of like picking songs, not realizing the songs would repeat. The music is so good on a lot of the tracks. I went back and did a bunch of the tracks because the music's um yeah. There you go. Blueprints. Okay, this is a rough one. I liked Blueprints. I did. I did like it. I'm not the biggest pure puzzle gamer, and I'm not the biggest roguelike gamer. When you mash up a puzzle game and a roguelike game, it just didn't hit for me. I tried playing more of it after streaming it. I've made it a few more days in game. I feel bad because I like the story and I recognize that it's a good game. The tonal music is solid, and I'm trying to separate my personal feelings for these games versus the quality of the game because Blueprints has become so beloved over this year. I recognize why it's part of the Game of the Year conversation. It's not my cup of tea personally. This is me trying to give it a benefit in spite of my bias, is what I'm saying here. I'm going to put it in good, but that's my personal bias, right? I recognize that it should be higher. It's not for me, and that's okay. Kirby Air Riders. What a fun update to the series. I, of course, chose my boy Rick. It's not only a good new kart racer, it's such a wild throwback to the GameCube days. It's better than Mario Kart World, in my opinion. Better music. The music slaps. The races are so fast-paced, and so they just feel crazy. It feels like a trip. A lot of my time is spent doing city trials just because I think they're fun. They're the perfect bite-size blast of like high-octane race. Just bam, game, bam, another game, bam. The story mode's cute. The weird backstory with the Elder God, I forget his name, who creates all these machines. Has a lot of cute racers, including Rick the hamster from Kirby World 2. But it had like a lot of really cool bosses. Marks came back, Dynablade. Zero 2 from Kirby and the Crystal Shards for Nintendo 64. Sakurai did it again, you know? It just feels good to constantly unlock. I get that it's better than this. I'm going to put it there. No. I think I actually enjoyed that. I'm going to put it there. Because I spent more time in this, so I guess I have more bias towards it. Yeah. Genshin Impact Luna 3. The final Genshin Impact that we've done. I thought it was a goddamn interlude. It was called an interlude. It was supposed to be an interlude. The story with Columbina broke my heart. Alice introduced herself. Not as a Dodoko, Alice. We got Nicole. We got more Zandroni and Arlecchino. We got Durin and Yehoda as playable characters. I've liked Durin so far. I haven't done a lot with Yehoda. But Yehoda's grown on me so much. She's become such a good character. Then we had Moon Prayer Night. And it was so much fun. And it was just all touching cutscenes. And I'm like, oh, I think we're going to lose Columbina maybe for the rest of the patch. She's going to return to the moon, but she's going to come back and save us somehow. Nope. That it was just touching and heartfelt and sweet until the final 7 minutes of the Archon Quest interlude, when your heart breaks, and it's so intense, and the goddamn doctor, and I think it's what Genshin needed because we needed a truly hateable villain. It was a really good patch. Yeah. Now to a game that's kind of familiar because it's what we did, like 10 hours ago? I've been streaming for 13 hours. Wow. Sword of the Sea. It was day 4 of Gamesmas. I have them rocking out. Giant Squid Games, Journey, Abzu, Pathless. This game, I said it before, is the perfect blending of all of them. It works so well. The environments are gorgeous. The tonal music is really good. Most of the game is nonverbal unless you're looking at the pillars, which are fully optional. The storytelling is just profound and impactful, and it's done through showing, not telling. It is an inspired writing game. It is just awesome. Profound. Like I'm really glad I went back to it and finished it today. It's going in good. It's, you know what? I'm gonna put it at the top of good because I think it was really great. Speaking of games that I played today, didn't finish it today though, but Marvel Cosmic Invasion was day 5. A really good modern take on a classic beat 'em up. I love the deep Marvel lore pulls. Savage Land and Sauron, Destro Mundo, which is Lady Hellbender ship, which is more modern. Bringing in classic and modern villains. I saw MODOK in there. I love the character choices because it's, yeah, there's Cap, Spidey, Iron Man, but they didn't do Thor. They did Beta Ray Bill. They didn't do Hulk. They did She-Hulk. Quasar. I love Quasar. I liked her as Martyr, but she's awesome. Cosmic Ghost Rider, who's Punisher with Ghost Rider's powers. Insane. Great game. Really good beat 'em up. And I'm enjoying it. And the leveling system that's happening in the background. Yeah, there. It's in good. And that's where it belongs. Where Winds Meet. I did this on the 6th day. And it's a game that I only played a bit of. From what I understand, I liked this game and I heard a lot of the hype, so I looked into it. This game apparently really gets really good at like the 20 to 30 hour mark. When the world fully opens up, you get a lot of the movement options. So like the few hours I played were all really enjoyable. But people have been saying the first few hours are actually the weakest and it only gets better. Maybe I'll hop back in at some point. I like the monetization, that it's just cosmetic stuff and it's not too gacha-y. The combat was really cool. I like the boss designs. I like the world. It seems like it might be more of a PC than a console game. So who knows? I'm going to put it in solid for now because that's just my personal... Yeah. There. Ball Pit. A brick breaker roguelike. So many roguelikes this year. The game is neat. I got to the 3rd map, which I hadn't beaten yet. So I beat the first 2 maps a couple times. I like that you could just screw around and keep building your village, and every lap you still get stuff. You don't get an insane amount of rewards. You're not getting like a crazy... Hold on. You're not getting a crazy number. Right. Where is that? You're not getting a crazy number of rewards each run, but the runs are always consistently quick and satisfying. Like, what? 3 to 8 minute runs, pretty much. I like, you get to keep building your village. It was fine. It was a cool concept. There you go. Wanderstop, a very chill, vibe-based game that I think I'm going to finish off stream. Some like heavy, dark themes, pushing yourself too hard, trauma, healing, kind of neat. The game is very chill, and it kind of like counterbalances Alta's story. I like her perseverance, her story, her trying to overcome her trauma to get back to her dream. She's a cool hero. Boro, on the other hand, is a cinnamon roll. He's one of the best characters of the year. I put him up there with Basie. He's a giant, and Esquier and Monaco. He's a giant, fluffy Uncle Iroh. He's just a big guy who understands trauma, who understands healing, and likes drinking tea. The game had a lot of fun side characters. Um, the demon hunter who just went by demon hunter and was basically a Jehovah's Witness, or like, it's like, oh, I hear you have monsters in your territory. Well, you can pay me with room and board to get rid of them. Or Ren, the big guy with the skull mask. And the best character in the game was Gerald, the knight who is very obsessed with his son and takes multiple pictures of him sleeping and is clearly cursed. And he's like, I just need to do a few more sit-ups. I'll get better. I'll get over it. I do want to finish the game. Absalom was next. Absalom was day 9. Another roguelike. Another beat 'em up. It's not a which one? Wanderstop? Yeah, it was chill. It was not a big game. It's all about a character trying to overcome trauma by making tea in the middle of the woods with with a big man who owns a tea shop, and it's cute and chill. It's a very vibe game. It's very just like, I'm just gonna make tea. I'm just gonna grow plants. I'm gonna help the people that come here and try and deal with my trauma. Absalom, another roguelike, another beat 'em up. Again, I feel like that was such a thing this year, roguelikes. And Absalom did it really well. The number of the kinds of combos I was getting with the characters in Absalom, it really depends on your run, but you were able to do some really cool stuff in this. I might try and get together with one of my friends to play more of it, because it was really neat. Gonna put it there. For now, what I've seen of the story of this magic hoarding god king and these people, the basically rescued children of this tree deity trying to be reborn at the cost of their mother's life force. Awesome. It's cool. Day 10, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. The Shinobi franchise is an old one, and it came back with vengeance. One of the best action games of the year, I think. I'm going to put this right after Absalom. No, I'm going to put it right before Absalom. Really good combat. It's a Metroidvania side-scroller action platformer. Not a roguelike. It's just an action game. And the combat is so clean. The combat is so fun. And the story is cool. It's a character, again, another revenge tale. This Joe is the retired shinobi. He's retired teaching a village of shinobis with his pregnant wife. A dark god, or a warrior has replaced the Grim Reaper, the god of death, and taken his power but refused his mantle and purpose, and is just using all the power of the death god to take over the world with military, with magic, all of it. And his first thing is, hey, there's this village of shinobis that always stops bad guys. Turn them all to stone. First move. Very cool. I do want to get back into that. Unbeatable was day 11. Very weird game. I'm going to put it here. It feels like an old school retro GameCube game. It's part rhythm game, part RPG, part Jet Set Radio. It's this weird mashup of genres, and I don't know where it's going. So I can't. It's solid from what I played, and I grew up on those games, Jet Set Radio, Parappa the Rappa. It feels like that generation, but a modern game, and it just released, and I liked it. I want to see more of it, and I'm curious where it goes. It's got a weird contrived story, like music summons monsters called the Silence, and they torture and beat up teenagers who sing. The Rogue Prince of Persia, another roguelike. This one was a roguelite action platformer side scroller Metroidvania. I was able to beat it 3 times. I got to the final boss and defeated him 3 times. Every time I got to the final boss, I beat him. But every time you got partway through a run, you unlocked new areas, so your next run could go on branching paths. So it was just like this multiple branching storyline. Like you found out your brother was killed and corrupted by a wizard after you defeated the wizard. Cool. So you went back and found where your brother was being held. But oh, turns out you can't get in there. His cell is locked because it's powered by water from the aqueduct. But you need to go back to the village, get the lever, put the lever in the aqueduct, turn on the switch to get the water flowing. Then on that same run, rescue your brother. Then he's never corrupted and killed by the wizard. Cool. He tells you that your mother went to the university or the gold mines. You find out your mother died in a cave-in. And you have to go a different route to kill a different boss, not that wizard, before the cave-in is ever caused. And if you wait too long, your mother dies from injuries, but then you rescue her. And it's a lot of cool time-looping shenanigans. I beat it 3 times, like I said. And you need to beat it at least 3 times in order to unlock the story's true ending. But there's a lot more there. But so I got to the story's true ending. There's a lot more there, and it's a surprisingly in-depth roguelike system. Gonna put it there. I was surprised with how much I vibed with it. Next up, a good story game about a psychic baby. This baby has godlike powers but cannot communicate. And his story about why this baby has psychic powers and why this baby is so intelligent and bonding with his family. And it was such a cute story. We did the main story in one stream. I want to do a alternative story still. It was a cute story game. What took like 3 to 5 hours to beat the main story, Goodnight Universe. And it was really solid. There you go. Yeah. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Avarice Chronicles. I can tell there's more here. I have not played more. Oh yeah, it was a Goodnight Universe. It's adorable. If you can get it on sale, I highly recommend it. It's a great story. It's a pretty good mystery, and it goes to weird places. If you're a big fan of like 80s movies, 90s movies, but it has like a great twist. It's really worth it. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Avarice Chronicles. I can tell there is more here. The voice acting is so good. The combat is so good. The tactical element. I was a big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I never did the original Tactics. I really liked what I played so far. I want to continue it on stream, but honestly, I might just do a bunch of it off stream. I'm not sure yet. It's in good. I want to play more. You know? In fact, I'm going to put it there. Yeah. Yeah. Skate Story. You are a demon made of glass, and you are condemned to skate. You must skate. It is a skating action game through 6 stories of hell while you devour the moons. It is a weird drug trip skating game. Yeah. Not my cup of tea. I enjoyed what I did. It was cool getting to unlock more and more tricks, more and more stickers for your board, different wheels, it's cool. It's very weird. I don't have a lot to say about that. It was solid, though. It was a solid, well-designed game. Really cool music. First Berserker Kazan. An anime-stylized, inspired action Souls-like game. The bosses that we fought the giant Yeti, we fought the lizard man, son of the dragon, who was trying to get revenge for us killing a dragon. You're a former general of an empire who saved the world from this berserk dragon, only to be you and your partner, who was a mage. The mage had his eyes gouged out and was executed. You had the tendons in your arm cut and were being sent to execution when a storm knocked over your cart in the snowy mountains. You were possessed by a legion of demons who said, give us your body, we'll help you get revenge, you help us plug up a hole in the underworld, because monsters and demons are being revived and the king of hell doesn't like that. So if you help us save hell, we'll help you get revenge. And you're like, bet. And it's just cool action Souls-like. Dark Souls, not roguelike, Souls-like. And like the action's very cool. I was doing a dual wielding, a blade and an axe. That was the combat style I was using. Really fun action, cool animation, cool enemies. I want to see more of it. I'm going to put it under there for now. Next is an easy one. A game about digging a hole. In this game, you dig a hole. That's it. It's a game about digging a hole. And you get minerals, and you sell those minerals for bigger shovels to make it easier to dig, and a bigger backpack so you can hold more minerals, and a bigger battery so you can dig more, and a jetpack so you can get up to the surface faster. I went back and played it a second time. It was a very funny ending, a very dark ending. I did one full playthrough, and I've done it 2 more times. I've gotten everything except beat the game in under 30 minutes. That's the only thing I still need to do. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a silly, dumb, fun game, you know? It's solid. I'm not going to put it... Like, I would not go back and... I'm going to put it there, actually. Because it's an experience. It's not a game, it's an experience. Hirogami. I still have to go back and do Hirogami in my free time. It is a old school 3D platformer with a little bit of action. The main character is an origami boy with a paper fan. You're saving origami animals from this digital corruption. I'm sure there's more of a commentary that I haven't gotten into yet of digital versus papercraft. It's really cute, and it reminds me of like old school Spyro games, Banjo-Tooie, with a little bit of Mario thrown in there with like the level select menu, maybe a little bit of Crash Bandicoot. I liked it. It's a solid game. There you go. I'm more likely to go back and play that. Yeah, there you go. Next for one that we finished earlier tonight. Buy Sweet Carol. A Disney-inspired dark point-and-click adventure game. I loved the animation. The music was good. The voice work was really good. The characters were good. I literally did a review about it a couple hours ago. I liked my playthrough of it. I'm going to put it in solid between Final Fantasy 1 and 2. That's where I'm putting... I do not regret my playthrough of Buy Sweet Carol. I had a good time with it. Again, that's me personally because I'm a big fan of old school point-and-click adventures. Like, this is like, oh, we need to make a chemical to a rust cleaner to move this crank. So we need to go get 3 different chemicals across this entire map. And but we also have a time travel mechanic, so it could be in the past or the future. So we need to find those 3 chemicals, then find the formula for making it, Oh, but one of them is guarded by this monster. Oh, but if we drop this cage in the past, the monster can't get us in the future. And it's a lot of that. It's a puzzle game, but point and click, which is the way I prefer my puzzle games. And again, I went on like a half-hour rant about the themes and the characters earlier tonight. Toa and the Guardian of the Sacred Tree. Why, you might ask? Did I use the picture of a hot fish man? Because Nishiki is great and he's the most memorable character in the game. Him and the magical mommy, literally named Origami, who was just wearing a paper origami hat. I loved them both. But I did not like the start of this game, which was unfortunately on stream for Gamesmas. I decided to give it a try later and actually ended up platinuming the game. I played the game as every character, as the main hero, every character as support. I boosted the town. The absolute hardest trophy was getting to 100 jump ropes with Toa. And seeing the town age, because every time you're rescuing these main heroes with Toa, the guardian goddess, every time you rescue them, years pass. So you're actually seeing NPCs get older and older, and their children or their disciples are replacing them running the shops, and then they're old and retired. Some of them die. It's kind of sad. There's like a lot of touching, great music, really good action, and guess what? It's another roguelike. But it has like a better powering than regular roguelikes is what I'll say. Yeah. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. It took me a minute to get Splintered Fate because of Master Splinter. Master Splinter disappears. It's another top-down action roguelike. Oof. Not as good as Shredder's Revenge. Still a few deep cuts. I'm going to put it down here. It's a solid game. If you have other people with you, it becomes a lot easier. I was able to beat Shredder once. I got through the entire game one time. I did a complete run. And it unlocked more arcade mode stuff. It unlocked a lot more options. So I probably have to beat it a few more times to get the story done. But I got what I wanted out of the game. The action is okay. Some of the power-ups are weird. The combat can be a bit finicky at times, but I liked it. Next up, a game that I really liked that I thought was going to be a weird one. I did not expect it to be as good as it was Hurdling. Very good vibes, easy, like an afternoon game. If you're just like having a rainy afternoon or a snowy afternoon, it's a cozy game. You are a homeless child guiding big beasts home to the mountains, keeping everything alive from demon owls, from pitfalls underneath ice and snow. You have to remove bramble and brush from them. You have to make sure everyone is fed. You keep them warm at the fires. I cared so much about these big Dumbos. I loved them. They were very cute and weird. Just giant mouth, and you got to like decorate them with bridles and big earrings and stones. I liked Hurdling a lot. Again, cozy afternoon game. I'm going to put it after Rogue, but before a little to the left. Yeah. This one I want to do a lot more of. It's on my continuing list. Midnight Walk. Midnight Walk is really neat. A fully claymation, almost point and click, almost action adventure. I don't know what I would call Midnight Walk. You are a god of fire who was burned, and now you are lighting the cinders in a world that hates fire and wants to steal it for themselves. It's creepy. It's weird. It's very Nightmare Before Christmas. It's very Studio Leica. I'm going to put it there. After Goodnight Universe, before JWE3. We're in our final games. Octopath Traveler 0. I really liked what I love the Octopath series. I really want to play more of it. I like what I've played so far. And having a custom character is interesting and weird. I feel like it's a little more scattered and less focused than the OG Octopath. So I'm going to put it there. That feels good. But that's because I only played, 4 hours of a giant RPG. So who knows where it'll go. And last, Assassin's Creed Shadows was my final game of Gamesmas. This was a rough one. I feel that the AC games usually open strong, but this one, the opening hours were very muddled. First, you were playing as Yasuke 2 years ago, then Yasuke in a war, then Naue in the same war a couple hours earlier, then after the war, then 2 years ago, then to the present, then with flashbacks for Naue to 2 years ago. What? Bad storytelling off the jump, off rip. The movement is good, and the movement and stealth is what AC always does well and should focus on. The combat was bad. The combat was out and out not good. Again, I'm going from Yote, and I feel like it's an apt comparison because of the setting, the time, the revenge plot, the character, the design, all of which Yote did better. I only played for a few hours and I only played for like 2 more hours off stream. So like 4-6 hours total. And I found like 3 glitches that were like substantial. And one of them happened to me while I was on stream, and for a solid like 4 or 5 minutes I was just stuck on a tree branch, like vibrating off slowly into the middle of the air, and I couldn't move. And it would occasionally let me change directions. It was weird. I feel like this game is a real miss. The music it's good music, it's solid music, but it's Japanese hip hop and Japanese jazz, and it doesn't fit the setting, which is weird because all the other Assassin's Creed franchises have used music appropriate to those settings, but not this one. Why? And Yote did it with traditional music, and it slapped. I feel like this game was a miss, and I don't want to pile onto the hate that this game got. I was not hooked. I'm still probably burned out on the franchise. I'm going to put it there. No, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it at the bottom of meh. Because there is, like, the design looks good. When you're on the purchase, it still looks good. Were you there for that? You saw that one? Ugh. Okay, The Dark Queen of Mortholm. I did this off stream. This is not a game. It is a 20 to 30 minute gaming experience. If you see it on sale on Steam, I recommend buying it. If you just want to kill an hour, it is an experience. You are playing the Dark Queen of Mortholm. You are playing the villain in a Souls game. She is the evil, eternal queen of a dark tower, and a hero comes in, and you punch him, and he dies immediately. And you burn his body, you go to sit on your throne, and he comes back in. So you're like, wait, didn't we hear? So you go to punch him, and he jumps over it. So you shoot an energy fireball underneath him, and it burns him. You go to sit in your throne, and he comes back in. You do a charge attack and kill him. Go to sit on your throne, he comes back in. You punch him, he dodges. You charge attack, he jumps over you. You fire, he dodges. You charge again, you kill him. Every time you kill him, he gets better and better at dodging you because you're the bad guy in a Souls game and he's the hero who's learning your pattern. So if you use the same move to kill him too many times, he gets used to it. And he gets better at surviving each time. When your HP gets low enough, you have a phase 2. You transform into a giant monster. And that would be neat if that's all it was, but it's a cool story about the theme of perseverance because every time the hero comes, they have a brief moment of dialogue where the queen questions him, and you can pick, hey, why do you keep coming back? Because the queen is aware of the time loop and so is he. And it's what do these looped characters start to mean to each other. Like eventually he stops showing up and he doesn't show up for like 40 seconds, but it comes back with a holy sword. He's like, oh, I went on a side quest because you're important. And he's like, why do you want to stay the evil queen? She's like, this is all I am. I am eternal. This is all I have ever been. What is the meaning of roguelikes? It's a cute experience. It is not a game. It is a gaming experience. I'm putting it in solid because of that. I'm actually going to put it above some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Because I liked it. It just was 20, 30 minutes, so I can't justify putting it up there, you know? 2 days ago, we did the DLC for Astrobot. Didn't we start this stream with DLC for Astrobot? Right here? Yes, we did. They came out with more. The Vicious Void DLC. 10 new levels, 9 of which are based on various power-ups. They're quick, they're fun. The final level was hard, but really rewarding. You could learn it. It had some great new bots. Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. Atsu from Yote. Ezio Auditore da Firenze. 2B. Surge from Chrono Cross. Some cool characters. Sephiroth and Cloud from the remakes. I'm going to put it up there with these because I feel like I don't think it's as good as those, the first 2 DLCs, but I think it's good. Daima 2 is above Daima 1, but not above Heroes of Justice. Yes, it was cool getting Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and King Goma, and Majin Do. No, Do was in the last one. Ku was in this one, right? Or was Ku in this one? Whatever. All cool. I also never did Charlotte or the ranked matches. And the reason I put this above it is because it introduced English voicers. That's it. It also had a ranked mode that I never did and probably will never do. I would have done the Tamagamis instead of more. They had other characters they could have done. Yeah. Then we did Digimon DLC Alternate Dimension. It was cool. I'm impressed that they already have such a substantial DLC. It's a one-off. It had a bunch of new Digimon. I guess 3 of them were variants of Omnimon. But Parallelmon was cool, a good villain. I really like how they're tying in Cyber Sleuth and Kyoko by making her the daughter of Captain Kuremi from Time Stranger. And the battle scene with Kuremi versus Omni-Man Defeat was awesome. If this is the first of the possible DLCs, they're off on a good foot. I'm going to put it there. There. On its own. Remember, the main game is up here. The DLC was fine. DK Bonanza, Island, and Emerald Rush. This was not as good as the main game. It was chill. And they added a roguelike mode. Because everything is roguelike now. But exploring DK Island was cute. And the collecting statues seems like it'll be fun. I'm going to put it here in solid. I think I had more fun with that. I'm going to put it there. It was fine. It wasn't as good as the main game. The music was great. The music's the best part. And finally, Pokemon Legends ZA DLC Mega Dimension 1. We know there's going to be another DLC, I believe. But for now, That was cute. I still have to do the post-game DLC, which requires even more grinding. The story was good. Ansha as a main character, good. All the other characters, good. The new megas that I saw, cool. The same damn pacing problem from the main game. Makes you do the same matches again and again and again and again to collect materials for donuts, and then use those materials to go to a pit, do 3 missions, and that's it. No more than 3, because there's a cap, then exit, then do it again, then make more donuts, then go to more portals, and eventually, after you do it enough times, you can go to a special portal, but it still has a time limit. But the story was good. It was satisfying. Darkrai is awesome. A lot of the new megas that we saw are really cool. And I'm probably going to do another stream of it in January. I don't know when, but I feel like they didn't learn their lesson. I'm going to put it right after Mafia 3. For the same reason as Mafia 3. I'm putting them right here because of good story, bad pacing. Right? And that is it. So that was our year in gaming. 2025 is done. We are in 2026. My worst game of the year, technically came out last year, was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. My worst game that came out this year was Assassin's Creed Shadows and Shadow Labyrinth. I don't like shadows unless they're hedgehogs. All of the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC was mid. Skull and Bones, the Inazuma patch, Lost Records, all meh. Most of the games we played this year were in good to solid. These are all games that I say are worth playing. And that is the majority of the stuff I did this year, which is good. Working our way up. Lawless, the weakest of the Fortnite seasons this year. Splintered Fate, Dark Queen of Mordholm. Chapter 7, Digging a Hole, Unbeatable Ball Pit Skate Story. The DK Island DLC, the Mega Dimension DLC for Pokemon. Mafia 3. I'd say best overall story, but worst pacing. That ruined the game. Final Fantasy 3, Call of the Sea, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Plucky Squire, the Varesa Iansan Volcano Dragon Genshin patch, Alternate Dimension for Digimon, Shock and Awesome, Wander Stop, Shredder's Revenge, Little to the Left, Herdling, Rogue Prince of Persia, Final Fantasy V, Season 3 of Marvel Rivals, Mario Kart World, Galactic Battles for Fortnite, Season 4 of Marvel Rivals, Hirogami, Fortnite Season 3 with Super, The Order of the Giants DLC for Indiana Jones, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Midnight Walk, Goodnight Universe, Psychic Baby, Where Winds Meet. I gotta put more time into it, but I'm actually gonna bump that down too, because I know these are good. This one I know is gonna take more time to get good. I want to see it. Sonic Race and Cross Worlds, Toa and the Guardian of the Sacred Tree, First Berserker Kazan, Octopath Traveler 0, Final Fantasy 2, Bye Sweet Carol, Final Fantasy 1, Pokemon Legends ZA. Those were all solid. In the good category, games that I think that I would recommend: Kirby Air Riders, Blueprints, the Daft Punk Experience in Fortnite, Genshin Impact version 5.3, Marvel Rivals Season 2, all of the DLC for Astrobot, Jurassic World Evolution 2, Mafia Old Country, Mafia 2, Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Genshin Impact 5.7, A Story or A Space and Time for You, Absalom, Shinobi, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Mafia Definitive Edition, Repo, Monster Hunter Wilds, the first Nod Cry patch, Luna 1, Hunters, which was Season 1 of this season of Fortnite, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, Fortnite Simpsons, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 4, my favorite, the summer event for Genshin 5.8, Nod Cry Luna 2, Marvel Rivals Season 1, Nod Cry Luna 3, Marvel Rivals Season 5, Genshin 5.6 Paralogism, thank goodness you're here, Sword of the Sea is the top of good. I'm really glad I went back and played that. Now for the greats. These are the best of the best, the ones that I would recommend to anyone who likes gaming. Donkey Kong Bonanza, best family action game of the year, hands down. Peak, best co-op game of the year. Best multiplayer in my opinion. Silksong, best challenge of the year. Indiana Jones, beautiful storytelling, great performances. Digimon, best RPG. Monster Collector RPG, sorry, Pokemon Dispatch, best narrative. Ghost of Yote, beautiful story, beautiful music, beautiful environment. Split Fiction, best co-op. Great story, great primer for video games, best final level of the year. And the game of the year for me, I said it as soon as I finished. It was Expedition 33. I knew it. It won every award, and it wins my award too because it reminisces. It harkens back to so many games I love, and it in of itself is just such a unique masterpiece. And it's just a 1 in a million passion project. I really loved it. So there we go. These are my games. If I were just bam, if I were looking at that as a list of games to play, oh, thank you very much. If I were looking at that as a list of games to play, I would do it. I'd say everything in GOTY, great, and good is worth playing. And a lot of the stuff in solid. Final Fantasy, By Sweet Carol, Octopath, Goodnight Universe. A lot of these are hurdling. Hurdling is down here because it's just too short. If there was more of hurdling, I don't know if it would have the same impact, but it was definitely worth it. All right. Well, we've been streaming for about 14 hours now. This was awesome. Wow. Yeah. We had a lot of people here today. It's been rad, and I really liked doing this. I like capping off every year by looking at how we did, and it's so telling that most, and again, this is why I think it's a good year, because look how much is good and worth playing versus it's all right. Right? I wouldn't say even these are bad. But compare the solid to the not so solid. Yeah, it was a long stream today, 14 hours. But Solar, thank you so much for joining me, because you were here at the beginning of the stream. I think you took a break in the middle, and then you came back at the end of the stream. So I'm glad you joined me. Tofu, Herb, Vinox. Yeah. Tito, you stopped by. Michelle. Hey, you know what? To a great year. To one good one. And here's to the next. Thank you so much for joining me. That's it for this thing that I'm doing. Till next time, stay awesome. Happy New Year.